back to Hi-Fi Tech and Entertainment channel. In my previous video, I covered service definition, generic providers, and input validation. In today's videos, I will explain you how to use the custom logic and what is the use and actions and functions serving media data. So, why we need custom logic means as most of the standard tasks and use cases is covered by the generic service providers, the need to add the service implementation code is greatly reduced and manipulated. So the quality of the individual code, everything is performed. So some remaining cases that we need to custom the handlers, reduce the real custom logic specific to our domain specification. Here comes under the custom event handler and within event handler. In custom event handler, what is the main use is the CAPM allows you to customize the business logic at different points in the request. Here we have the hook methods on, before, after. So if you want to validate the data before going to submit or before saving, in that scenarios we are going to use the before handler. So to interrupt your CRUD operations or to modify the behavior in that scenarios, we are going to use the on, and to define the custom logic for specific business logic. I mean, after response, if you want to handle something in that scenarios, we will use the after. I think as a Fury developers, we know on rendering, after rendering, before rendering. That's how here it is. In so these are the some of the cases we are going to use it this one. So types of event handlers is one is the custom actions, and when we will use this, for example, if you define some business logic, I mean to submit the order or to cancel or to approve, so to perform some additional validations, here we will use the on. What is the structure to use on means, here only we can see this dot on, this is the action method name, whatever you are going to use. Then here two fields will be there, one is required field and one is the response field. Required field means whatever the data for this related entity or service, that data we will capture it and we will perform. For example, if you see here this dot on create, I mean create operation, it will work. Books is our entity. Request means if you click on the request between the books entity, whatever the data will be there, that data we will fetch it here. That's how the structure will be. So here we how to perform some simple logic, how to maintain the validation is, if you see here, this is some basic structure. If you create a before, on, after means the basic structure will be like this dot before. If you want to perform any CRUD operation, we will use that. In case if you didn't perform any CRUD operations, directly we will call that function name or method name. Then if you perform CRUD options operation, we are going to use the entity name. Then here two fields will be there, request and response. Currently I'm just using the request, just I'm developing some simple structure, that's why I maintain this. So the first line will be the standard structure. Next, once you execute this, it will jump into the second line. Here I'm maintaining the condition request.data.customer name. If this data should not be blank, then I will maintain, if it is a blank, then I will maintain an error message, customer name is required. So in other cases, if you want to maintain some more error relations like that, else case it will satisfy. That's how we need to perform before, even, after. So same way, why we will use this means, the main advantage of this, it will prevent the users from submitting an order that does not exist. That means we can maintain we'll check the status before itself, before doing the backend calls, before itself we can validate. Then if everything is validating perfectly, then we will perform these actions. The main advantage of before event handler is it's requires the validating the incoming data before it is storing to our UI table or whatever tables, and also it will avoid to preventing the unauthorized modifications, and it will setting the default value if it is needed. Same way, in case if you perform the after means the order, in that scenario also it will validate. So instead of before, if in case if I use the after handle methods, then in which cases you want to use means maximum to modify the response before sending to the client. For example, the structure will be like we have some form, but you want to send this data as in some object data. To modify that, we can use the after event handling. And also if you want to add some calculation fields, or if you want to add some additional information, that all scenarios we will use this. Then in on met on hook method, the main use of hawk on hook method is to perform the standardize the CRUD operation and also applied additional business logic. The main advantage of this is invalid the inputs, and it will enforces the custom logic and data modification. This is one of the main part. Here you can see the in which we will use these cases. When it comes to on custom actions, I mean custom actions is nothing but just normal validations, submit, create without doing the CRUD operation, that logic we will use this. This is some sample methods how to use. And coming to the before, it will validate the data, and also at least one item also it will perform. So this is the when we are going to use this, and what are the examples, simple examples to perform this. Next comes under the actions and functions. Actions are used for the operator which adds and modifies data via post request. That means we'll perform these actions on the CRUD operations. Mainly the functions we will use to retrieve data from the get methods. If you see here, this is one of the example how to use the functions and the action. If you see here, within the service, I maintain the function. Within the function, this is my function name. Here I'm going to pass the parameters. Finally, I'm going to return the integer value. Here within the function, there will be two actions will be there. One is bounded action, bounded functions and unbounded function. What is the difference between bounded functions and unbounded function means the bounded functions is mainly we need entity. It's completely dependent. It can't be a independent. It can't be an independent. So, for example, if you want to get the data, for example, if I want to use this bounded function, if I want to check the status means through ID only we need, right? So I need to pass that entity with ID, then only I will get that. Instead of this, if I use some just submit functions and calculate string performs, in that scenario, no need for the entity purpose. Here comes under the independent act, unbounded functions. Same way, these are the sum of the examples I showed you here. How to implement the actions and functions means here you can see here. If you want to perform some calculations and some data, if you want to perform some methods, if you want to pass the parameters, so that all things here, this way also we can pass it or this way. Both will be the same. That's how we need to perform. Next one is the media data. Here comes under the media data. So the main use of this media data is to store in database with the fixed media type. For example, images. If you want to upload image, or if you want to load some data types, that all data we can pass it like this. That's how we need to maintain this. So this all things we are going to perform now in the bash real time. So what I will do is I will take some simple entity and I will perform the uh, this custom logic, some simple custom logic, and after that I will perform the actions and functions, and I will test it how to use it in our real times. So just I will show you a simple way. Later you can practice it based on your real time. So let's go to the bash. Now already you know how to configure all these things. Just what I will do is I will create a new project from template. Then I'll create some simple cap project. Then I will use a naming convention like custom logic and function. So this is the name I will define. Sorry. Yeah. Database. Then finish. Just simple application I configured here. Now you know right how to create the function module, sorry, database. Right click, new file, schema.cds. Here I will define my first from at the rate command slash commons. Yes. So next namespace, my dot order. This is the namespace I defined. Then entity order. So here we need to give the primary key name. So these all things already you guys know. Just I'm showing you how to define it. Then I'm taking just three parameters. I will take it to perform all actions. All actions is nothing but create, read, on, before, after. Three hook methods I will use it, and also bounded actions, bounded functions, unbounded functions, everything. Decimal, some decimal number. Then I will take one more proper column, string. If you want to take it as to load image means, what you need to do is odata dot media. That's how we need to define an image larger binary. So then if you define the at the rate of odata.media, so what it will happen is directly it will support that media type image scenarios it will support. So once it is done, just run it. First initial step npm install. The second what you have to do, just run the application. Semicolon is missing, so I given the semicolon. Semicolon is missing before the namespace. Yeah, now it's fine. Not here. One click on enter, then it will run in other data servers. So now an entity is ready. Now service is not defined. Let's create it. How to define the service? Just right click, new file, service.cds. Then using order as db, I will take from path slash, yeah. So here it's loaded. Then service. Here we need to write our my service name, my custom service. Here I want to show one more thing. If you use at the rate dot path colon, whatever service structure you want to maintain, for example, API slash custom logic, that's how I want to maintain the service. So you can maintain it like this. So what it will happen is this path it will show instead of showing the normal one. So here as usual, entity project, entity name, db dot order. Yes, now it's ready. Now see, once you run the application, you can see API custom logic. In case if I didn't give this path, you can see the difference. Save. Now see, odata slash v4 slash my custom. That's how. If you want to give some proper naming convention, you can give it. The next step what we have to do is add the data CSV file. For that, CDS add CSV. Sorry, CSV add data. Then the folder will create. Here we need to maintain that. Now I will maintain 0, 1, some 120, some status pending. Till now you guys know, right? The next what you have to do is To write our on, before, after methods, we need to create a file, new file, same, the file name ends with .js. So to perform our on, after, before functionalities. So the first step what I will do is, here we need to load the module. This is the standard. So once you module.export means whatever the service we define, it will export it here. SRV service, this one I want to execute. After equal to what things will be there, that things will execute it here. Then now here I will start writing my on, before, after functionalities. The first what I will do is, first I will write it on, to perform on, before, after method. For that, so in our service now, here we are going to perform on, before, after hook methods. So first what I am doing is, I will load this CDS things equal to require. Here I will load it. Yes. Then whatever things you want to execute, what you have to do is module dot export. After this, whatever things will be there, that all things will execute. So I want to execute my SRV file. Then here I will perform all the hook methods. The first hook method, what I will do is, first I will read these orders from the entity equal to SRV dot entities. Then SRV dot, now I will perform before hook method. What I will do is create. Before creating, I want to validate the total amount is greater than 0 or not. That's what I want to validate now. Order entity, comma, require. So this is the standard way we have to define it. So if it is multiple, so the methods will be there, means what you have to do is define it separately and call it in the exports. That's it. So here I'm checking the required data dot total amount. This is the field name is less than or equal to 0. In this case, I want to show a error message. To show error message, or else what you 400 error I want to show. Error like total amount must be greater than 0, like this. Else case, just create it, and whatever the data will be there, for that maintain the status is pending. That's it. So that's how we need to perform. Same way, if that condition is ready, just I want to create a data, means like this also we can create a same method instead of use on. So while creating, if you are creating new data, just the status value updated to pending. That's it. Same way, if you want to perform after, here you have to write after, and here if after, when which case I want to do is, I want to perform a read here. Just here I want to check the data part. So that's how it is. Now I performed 3 hook methods. Now let's test it. Already, let's go to new service is there. How to test it? Follow the link. Here you can see, first see the order data. Order 1 120, status is pending. This is the data I got. Now I will test it, test.http. So you guys know, right, how to test this. Previously also you tested. So once we maintain HTTP folder, I maintain all the post method, invalidate, read data. First what I will do is I'll perform a to read the orders. Yes, now the data is there. Now I will perform the post method. 401 not content. Why? Let's check it here. Yeah, it is correct. Now we will test it again properly. The method, order, and the field names. So they refreshed, and when I perform the post, the data is created. So like that, we need to perform all these cases on, before, after. Now I will show you the actions. So how to define a function is function, function name, order, UUID and return it. If you see here, this is the bounded function. Why? Because here I'm taking the entity dot whatever the order here, that's how I want to read it here. If you want to take it unbounded function example, I will take it that also. Let's see. Now I'm taking another function, that is, if you see here there is no dependency with the entity. Just I define the function and I pass some parameter integer here. I want to return it. Now go to your JS file. After this, we need to call that functions. How to call is same srv dot on dot that function name. See it? Srv dot on dot the function name asynchronous. Whenever the status is processed, I want to see the timestamp. Once it is done, just test this. Meanwhile, I will maintain logic for the, what is the second function? Place bulk orders. This one. Two things we will test it now. Now this is unbounded action. Here what I did is same way I call the function name. Here I am taking the quantity from the data, what in the table data. If the order count is more than the quantity length, I am performing some actions and the maintaining the total amount is 50 and the status is pending, and I am maintaining the bulk order success message like order placed successfully. Now let's rerun this. Once you click on this, what are the functions you defined it there, that one also you can see it here. If you click on this, you can see the data. I will show you that. Once I click on get status of order, you can see here process. Just now I maintained, right? So that method is triggered. Go back here and let's check the place bulk orders option. See, undefined and orders placed successful. The value is not there, that's why it's coming as an undefined. That's how we need to write the code for the functions. Same way we can define it our actions also. Just what I will do is here, just I will give action. Instead of function name, action. Then we have to give the action name. So here I will define an action name. Then the field. If you see here I'm not going to use any ID, so we can consider it as an unbounded actions. So once we define it actions here, then again go to your SRV. Here we will define your same way as it is. The same thing we need to copy. Instead of function name, we have to write action. So just copy it. Yes. Now instead of this, what is your action name? Define that. So here action name, and here if the value is greater than this, I want to give some 10% discount for the orders, like that I did this logic I maintained here. So once you run this, let's see. Here if you see only functions you can see, actions you can't see. But if you see in metadata, you can see the but in metadata you can see the actions. But we can test it this in your test HTTP file here. So let's test it. One thing I forgot to tell you, the actions we can perform only post method. So now execute this and you can see the value is updated and it is posted successfully. Whatever the logic we define it here, we got 15 rupees discounts. That's how we need to use the bounded and unbounded functions, methods, actions and hooks method. So same way if you want to use an image, I told you right. So just what you have to do is in your entity set, we have to define it at the rate media and logic. For this, if you want to update, same logic, we can perform it and we can test it. So in today's video, you guys learn how to use a simple custom logics and also functions and actions, right? If you want in depth in my further videos, definitely I will do that. If you like this video is helpful, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you for watching guys. Stay tuned for more interesting videos.